Hey folks, how's everyone going? Today we're looking at the ArmSoM Sige6. This isn't even out yet. They just very kindly sent it to me to test out and I'm pretty excited about it. It's something a little bit different for them because this is an Allwinner A733, much like the Rockchip A7Z, I think it was, that we tried out. They've stuck to a traditional form factor here though, which is really nice. I do always appreciate that. And they've got a really rich set of interfaces on this. So I thought what we can do is we'll have a quick look over the board to see what it's got on there, what they've done with it effectively. We'll boot it up and see what the operating system's like. We'll have a quick look at the documentation. We'll definitely benchmark this thing and we'll put it on the SBC tier list. Now we will have to do it again because this isn't publicly available yet, so we can't rank everything about it. What we can do though is start looking at the board itself. So let's pull up the documentation quickly. We'll have a look at that and then we'll have a look at the physical board a little bit closer. Now, before I dive straight into the documentation, I of course want to thank PCBWay. They are also kind enough to keep sponsoring this channel, and that's how I can afford to make videos about SBCs that I don't get sent for free, which of course is a fair bit of the time. Now, even if you're not into designing PCBs, PCBWay do other things too. They have 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding, and even if you want to do 3D printing, they can print metal as well. They have so many bloody materials, it's amazing. Else, just go check out their module store. I buy so much from this because they've got so many cool toys. They've even got 12th anniversary t-shirts. I might have to pick some of those up. But there's a link below for you. It takes $5 off your first order, which means if you are doing PCB design, you can get a prototype order and you just pay for shipping. That link below though is what you want to click. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up, but it helps me and shows PCBWay that, that you guys are supporting me and that you're interested in what they do. It'd be hugely appreciated. I do also want to quickly thank my patrons. Your names will be at the end, of course. We've got 2 new members as well. Thank you very kindly. If you want to join, it starts as low as $4 a month. That's $4 Australian, so $3 US. And you get some access to behind the scenes footage. You can ask questions. You, of course, get your name in the video. There's a few options there, but you can choose what sort of collaboration and what sort of communication you want and pay what you can afford. Things are tough right now, though, so I understand if not. Now, though, we should get to the documentation. So for a board that's not actually released yet, they've fleshed out a fair bit of this documentation. I had the board arrive a couple of weeks ago and I held on to it because they said they were working on this. So I thought, fair enough, let's give them that chance. Now, as this is an Allwinner A733, they are limited, I should say, by the SDK a little bit at the moment. It is really good and is being built on. As you can see, this is the Allwinner SDK, and it gives you a lot of options. There's that A7Z we're talking about, and this is the SoC, and you can see there are some other kernels being built, but currently it's going to be 5.15. So no pissing and moaning in the comments. They are working on it, I should say. Now, it does also come with Debian 11. This is also being worked on, and again, it's a limitation of the SDK. These things take a long time to make. So, you know, designing a chip, releasing it, then designing an SBC around the chip, and then building an operating system for that chip that started being designed, you know, 2 generations of Debian ago, they got to start somewhere, and they'll catch up from there. But yeah, there's quite a bit here in the documentation, which is really good to see. This is really important for first-time users, I think, no matter how technical you are. Now, this does come with Debian on it. I've downloaded and flashed it with the latest. You can grab that from their Google Drive, and we'll plug it in and have a look in a moment. First, let's go back to the physical board and have a little walk around it. So we have got, how's this going to go? Can I shove the camera down there? Yeah, it did all right. We've got our 40-pin GPIO header here. So this is the Pi 2 style header. They've got that in the documentation. You've got an antenna connector. You've got 2 little ports here. So that one is for, I forget, we'll have to check. I think that might be for a battery. Yeah, that's the real-time battery. That one is for a fan. Here we've got a MIPI DSI connector, so that's for a 4K display if you wanted it. You've got a power button on the side, some little user LEDs there. We've got a reset button just hidden in there. USB Type-C for the power. Here you've got a speaker connector, so we're getting some really rich interfaces. I even missed that there's a microphone on the corner here. You've got a full-size HDMI, MIPI CSI, so this is the dual-lane MIPI CSI port. There's a FFL button here, so that's to flash it. You've got a 3.5mm TRS connector there. PoE header pins, which is awesome to see. We've got there we go, that probably won't focus, but gigabit Ethernet over here, USB type A 3.0 here, USB type A 2.0 there. These are your UART debug headers, so you can connect your TX, RX and ground to that. And then if we flip it over, we've of course got a little bit more. So here we have a MIPI CSI 4-lane. So that's going to be for your 4K cameras. And I believe it supports the IMX219 as one of the options. We've also got a full M.2 2280 slot along with our micro SD card slot. So this has onboard flash, 2280 and SD card, which is excellent. Now they've sent me a version with onboard flash and some quantity of RAM. I don't know what it is. What is also interesting, ArmSoM makes stuff with Banana Pi. They work together. I'm not sure exactly how they're related, but I can't find any Banana Pi with an A1773 yet, or 1733, sorry, yet. So I don't know if it's just also not released yet, like this one isn't, but I'd be very curious if this is something they've done on their own or if it's also again with Banana Pi. Now this Allwinner SoC is also a slightly different design. It's got 2 big A76 cores and 6 little I think they're 55 cores. Let me quickly have a look here. It says they are, yeah, A55s. So it's more low power, more embedded, but it's got 3 TOPS NPU as well. Combine that with the fact that you've got 2 different display interfaces, or these two I should say. You've got 2 different camera interfaces. You've got a mic and speaker interface. You've got PoE. You've got USB 3.0 and 2.0. You've got a lot of rich interfaces here. Plus, real-time battery connect is always fantastic to see in a standard form factor, credit card shape, standard mounting holes. It's a very nice and compact design. So I'm really excited for this product. What we're going to do now, of course, is plug it all in and see how it goes. So I'm going to get that set up. I'll be back in a tick and then we'll keep looking at this thing. All right, that is all set up now. To power it, I'm actually going to be using something else that I've been sent. This is the Sabrent 8-port 252 watt USB PD charger. So pretty awesome device, a bit chunky, but it does have wall mounting and it's got some grips if you're going to use it on the desk as well. But I've been using this a bit recently and I'm really enjoying it. So I thought it would be a good one here because we can, I can see exactly how much it's drawing. Actually, that's probably a better mode to use as well if this camera wants to figure itself out. So let's get this plugged in. I'll pull my little webcam overlay back up here so that we can have screen capture. Oh, one down, there we go, and see what's going on. So there she goes. So we can keep those specs in. 5 volt, 300 milliamp, and got a nice boot splash there. All right, you can see we've got the heartbeat LED going on there. Drawn up to about 1.2 amps, so not very much. Wait for the UI. I assume we've got a UI here. Let's hide this one for a minute, see what's going on. Actually, yeah, the current's alternating quite a bit, so it's definitely doing something. There's a mouse cursor. Could have been expanding the root partition or something like that. And there we go, logs straight into Debian with the time not set and as root it looks like. So definitely interesting. Let's have a quick look at what it comes with. So we've got Firefox there we can see, and we've got the SunXi Chromium build. That's promising, especially for GPU acceleration. Bring up some terminal here and let's just quickly check if we've got, yes, we've got some SSH. So what I'm going to want to do is probably join Wi-Fi. What's going on here? Oh yeah, there we go. Let's join my Pi-Fi network. We don't need this one. There we go. And what we'll be able to do from there is SSH to it. So what IP has it got? Sweet, that's nice and easy. So I'll get this set up over on my computer. There we go. And if we jump over and have a look, this is probably a little bit easier for you to watch. And there we go. That's a little bit better. So yes, we want that. And it's just root and root, as the documentation says. What I didn't consider though is it probably doesn't actually let you log in with root. So over here we'll just have to quickly do vir etc ssh sshd config. That's what I thought. And we'll replace that with, oh my god, I can't type. What's wrong with me? There we go. That's system debug. Just old habits die hard, I guess. So now if we go back here, we should, in theory, be able to, that's better. So we have that 5.15 kernel that I was talking about. That's just how she goes sometimes. Give them some time though. 6 gig of RAM. Just very interesting. 6 little cores. I don't know, that maybe they've reserved 2 gig for the ISP. I mean, that's very, very possible. You've got 2K and 4K camera capabilities here. We've got, how much? We've got 8 gig eMMC. So you can see it's /dev/root mounted there. That's interesting. That's very Android style, of course. So what am I doing? Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit harder to twiddle with things if you're not as familiar with the way the Android file system structure works or how they do things here. It actually looks like that's a 32 gig partition. That's a 32 gig eMMC. So it isn't actually expanding all the way. And the problem is probably in the layout. So what is that doing then? That wasn't anywhere that I saw. Let's have a quick look. Huh. I mean, I'll reach out to them about this and we'll find out for next time. So it's GPT and we've got our root partition there, but then we've got like 20 gig of just something back here. And it's FAT32, it looks like. What was it listed as? No. Yeah, that's really interesting. We'll get to that later on. So that's probably all we really want to see in the terminal. It'd be worth going back to the desktop and just having a look at what these web browsers want to do. That's a slightly more interesting point, I think. If we go to Firefox first. Got a little bit of lag there. There's no cooling on this SoC, so it might be thermally throttling itself. That's not something I'm too sure of. All right, so let's go to About Support and have a look at what's happening under the hood here. So software renderer. No WebGL, that failed. No EGL. All right, it is picking up the GPU, but we're missing some acceleration there. So be it. That's kind of what happens with Firefox a lot of the time. Chromium, especially the SunXI Chromium, might be better. It is the Imagination GPU, so I'm not too sure how it's going to go. But all we can do is have a look. So here we've got About GPU. Oh, all right. So I'll get back to them about that. This is definitely something they're gonna have to fix, but we know that. What we can do is let them know because this product's not out, and then theoretically that will be up and going when it's released. Some other things that we probably wanna check is Resolve Conf. Oh, all right, Cloudflare. No, sorry, Google. That's Google. Cloudflare's 1.1.1.1. So we've got Google resolvers. That is good. We have Chinese mirrors, but it's university mirror. So you probably do want to just do a quick swaps doozy on this one and just change it to whatever, ftp.debian.org, I think it is. Oh, you need to do mirrors.uscc.edu.cn. It would be ftp.debian.org. All right, so that's going to update what it can. There's Debian 11, of course. There are some extra repos that I saw there as well, which is definitely interesting. Logging in as root is interesting too. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'd rather an out-of-box experience, some good old OOBE. And I did see some other talk. So let's just quickly do apt install Linux headers uname -r. Yeah, all right, so there is a limitation there, but I think I can solve this one myself. So I'll put a link to the Linux headers for this build below. I'll just grab the SDK, copy the config over, and dump the headers into a tar.gz on a link somewhere for you. All that's really left, I guess, is probably going to be benchmarking. So for that, it'll be good old Geekbench, and you don't really need to hang around for that. I think I can actually keep this video a little bit shorter. So far, this is a board that's drawing 3 watts roundabout, which is pretty good. It's got 8 cores, it's focused on low power, it's got heaps of multimedia expansions. It's still a work in progress. As I said, there's a few little things to be aware of. One thing that I have noticed just in between recording bits of this is it does go to sleep. So that could be worth pointing out that over here, you'll want to change this setting. Now, I'm gonna let them know because they won't want this in the release. You have to turn off the sleep because you can't wake it up with the keyboard and mouse either. It seems you've got to hit the button, the physical button on the side of the device to wake it back up. So yeah, I'll fix that in a tick. It's not an immediate concern. I might have also spelt that wrong. So opening settings. It's doing something. How hot's that SoC? Oh yeah, the SoC is getting a little warm. It's probably thermally throttling itself a bit. So for the benchmark, what I'll do is, yeah, I think I'll stick a heatsink on there, just a small heatsink and fan, and hopefully that'll help a little bit. It will draw a little bit more power, of course, but that's perfectly fine. And I'll go back to ArmSoM with all of my feedback as part of this video. And I'd love your input in the comments too. Like if you've got ideas about what should be included or that's what we want to change. What they should do to make this exceptional. Now, be realistic, but leave it in the comments because this, you know, Tinker and Maker SBC community has to support each other. And if you just come up with rubbish, like you want it to run GPT OSS 120B or something like that, it's not going to happen, mate. Just be realistic. But yeah, so we'll run Geekbench 5, 6, and 7. I'll put the link to those below. And what that just leaves us with now, if I grab the correct mouse, is probably the SBC tier list, now that I think of it. If we look at this, this is what I've been maintaining for the last, what's that, maybe 25, 30 boards. And what I do is I rank what I'm working on. It has to be an SBC or as close to an SBC as you can get on a couple of factors. And then they get a final score. So this one now, I'll just put the webcam overlay up the top corner for you. So there's a little bit more to look at. Some blinking lights and stuff for all of you short attention folk. The first thing we're going to want to look at is price and availability. I obviously can't actually do price and availability yet. It doesn't have a price and it's not available. So instead of doing this out of 30, I'm going to do it out of 25 and recalculate that. So the numbers that you're seeing over here won't be what applies to how we put this one together, but we'll figure that out. Features and specs. So we've got our form factor. That is a standard form factor. Love that. You've got what I think is a good SoC, 6+ gig of RAM, eMMC. iMation GPU is a bit of a loss. That's a shame, but so be it. You've got a Wi-Fi chip that supports 5 gigahertz. That's definitely a win. WPA3 shouldn't be a problem. We can test that though. I have a network. One of my networks is, where's that? One of my networks is WPA3 5 gig. So if it joins that, I mean, that's definitely a win. This is the AIC 8800. So it's, again, a chip that's used, or a Wi-Fi module that's used quite a bit. I believe a few of the Radja boards have it, and Radja have the Debian Deb packages in their repo available. What's this doing? I might have got that password wrong. Yeah, all right. That was definitely wrong. That's definitely right. It might not support WPA3. That does happen, and I've seen a number of boards with WPA3 issues. But we know WPA2 works because that's what I just joined that other network with, and we know 5 gigahertz works because we can see the 5 gigahertz networks. I mean, that's 90% guaranteed working. All right, back to what we were doing. So over here, I'm going to say for the features and the specs, PoE support, MIPI DSI and CSI, 4K, 3 TOPS NPU, RTC battery, 3 different types of storage options. Like this is fairly loaded. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 for that one. I think that's very fair. Documentation and support. The documentation is clearly built out from the get-go. So that's always a win. It's really easy to read. If you have a look over here, I've been digging through a fair bit of it. You see the details about the Wi-Fi here. They've got CLI and non-CLI documentation, which is really good. They go through the different ways to program it. Now, unfortunately, this stuff is limited to Windows at the moment. That's not on ArmSoM. That's an Allwinner thing. I'm not a fan of this Phoenix suite either, or suite, it should be, but it does work. I don't get why it has to run as admin. They're probably stealing all the data off your computer or something. It does the job though. They look like they're going to be adding third-party systems. I've heard talks of Armbian being built for it. They release a lot of schematics, so all the design files are pretty much available, which is kind of insane. If you go and have a look at the Google Drive link as well, they usually organize this really nicely, which is hugely appreciated. So if we go software, there you go, so development tools, Debian firmware, and a camera testing program. If we go back to the hardware, specifications, diagrams, reference specimen, yeah. They share very openly, which is really awesome. I hugely appreciate that because it makes it, again, a part of a community that you can build on. There's stuff that you can do with this. You can design your own cases and accessories and all sorts of stuff like that. I think there's also a GitHub. I don't know where it is. Chrome search is garbage these days, but they've got a GitHub repo as well with some stuff there. So documentation and support, I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. The only thing that's really losing it a little bit here is probably that it's not fully fleshed out yet. So we will re-rank it in the future, but that it doesn't have Mac and Linux flashing options there. So it's not on them, but they chose the SoC, so they've got to cop a little bit of it. Then we've got software images. So not much at the moment. It's an old kernel. The SDK is available. The SDK is still being built out, and that's another part of a community project, I believe. And it's Debian 11. So software images, they're going to get 1 star. And I'm sorry, folks. I love yous, but you've got the opportunity to fix this when you release it. When you release this product, we're going to come back and have a look, and we'll see what this can really do with the up-to-date SDK. We'll put it against the QBA7Z at that point. Performance and reliability. Well, that's a tough one. So general use, it lags a bit. There's some settings issues. Ease of use was really high and it's never crashed. I've been twiddling with it on and off for days and I reset it, twiddle with it. It's never crashed. Lack of GPU, 2D and 3D, it's all software accelerated, so it's a little bit of a loss at the moment. That's in the browser though. So the desktop has acceleration, just not the browser. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So I'm gonna say 3 out of 5 for performance and reliability because it could be better. And I think that comes down to the lack of a heatsink on here and just that it's an older image. I think newer Debian images, newer Linux kernels have better scheduling, better UIs, better support for the hardware. So when that comes out, this is probably going to greatly improve. Then of course, the last thing is accessories and compatibility. So this is about as compatible as I can see it getting. Every connector here is pretty much standard. It supports PoE, it's USB Type-C as a power option. You can probably power it straight off that 5-volt rail there though. I don't see why not. You've got camera options, you've got storage options, you've got display options. It's going to support official and third-party accessories and hats because it's using what looks like a standard Pi 2 style header. So accessories and compatibility, they're getting a 5 out of 5. What's that give us all up? That's 14, 15, 18, 23 out of 25. That can't be right. Did I do that wrong? Where's my calculator? I got to stop trying to count in my head because I never get it right. 18 out of 25. Yeah, I gave it an extra 5 then somehow. 18 out of 25. And if we have to then put that on the tier list, how would we break that down? Let's just say it's 18 out of 25. We'll probably want to go 30 divided by 25 times 18. It gives them 21.6, so it gives them an A class. I'm going to upload that, stick them in A class. They're going to fill up the last of this column, so we better see some vendors. Oh, you can't even see that, can you? Hang on. Boom. Last column here is going to be filled up by this device. However, it might just jump up one when they release it. There's still the price and availability to look at. There's a bit that they can do with the images that are available. And of course, they can have a newer kernel and newer Debian release as part of that. That will probably bump it up here. So we will review it then again. But for now, A class is nothing to complain about. There's a lot of good contenders in here. Now, where did the A7Z go? 02 Q6A X4. Did I? I got a B. I can't even remember why that ended up with a B. I might have to look at that again. I wonder if it was the SDK, the kernel version, the images that were available. Interesting. Well, look, ArmSoM, you beat Radshare in this instance, and there is nothing wrong with that. You're both great vendors that I enjoy working with. So that is that for me this time. As I said, I'll link to those headers below just in case you need them and you want to twiddle with something like this or this SDK at all. Saves you having to compile it yourself at least. I'll give all of this feedback back to ArmSoM so that we can have the strongest possible product when it comes out. Don't forget about my Patreon. So these patrons that support me make a hell of a difference. Don't give me your money if you can't afford it though. Things, as I said, are tough right now. That includes for me. But you got to look after yourself first. This video will go up without ads on my Patreon, and you know, you can just use an ad block on YouTube realistically if you wanted to. Again, thanks to PCBWay as well. Happy 12th anniversary to them. And the most important one is a big, where's it gone? Big thanks to ArmSoM for sending this. The collaboration with them has been really, really good. They communicate really well. They are always happy to take on constructive criticism and feedback. And I forgot Sabrent sent this. Thank you, Sabrent, for sending that. Go check them out. There's 10% off on their Amazon store using the discount code I'll put below. I'm pretty sure it's 10% off. It might be more. But this is a solid unit, and the wall mounting feature is definitely good too. Lastly, I guess, I have to thank you guys. Thank you for coming along, giving me a bit of your time, leaving some feedback below. I know I'm behind. I'm still quite busy with some life stuff, some building disputes that are taking up all of my time, so 2 to 3 weeks between videos right now, but I will get to your comments. I do try to chip through it from time to time. So I'll get editing this video now. Hopefully it goes up tonight, which is a nice sunny Friday in Australia, at least in my part of Australia, and I wish you all the best weekend. Take care. I'll see you soon.